destination of that data. Yep.
Excellent point. So I want to turn our attention to solution sizing for a second. And I'm not going to drain this in great detail, but I just want to take you through kind of 4 major considerations. These include how much total data will be aggregated for grooming before sending to tools. Here we evaluate the speeds of the network segments and basically that will be monitored and estimate the current utilization on those segments. On the left, you see an example spine and leaf infrastructure. There's a total of 600 gig segments, and for example purposes, we're going to assume that we have 2 10 gig internet segments from span and a 40 gig GRE tunnel that's bringing in our virtual traffic east-west. You can see the math on the right, but to summarize, we'd have 660 gig of aggregate traffic at 100% utilization. So if we were to assume 50% utilization, then we'd arrive at a total of 330 gig of observed data before any filtering or grooming. This is important to ensure capacity on the chosen packet broker, and it helps us understand potential advanced packet processing licensing requirements. We'll be talking about single versus multi-tier. You heard Tim introduce that a bit ago, but we're going to go into that in a little more detail. But if edge aggregation is employed, also known as top of rack or row-based aggregation, then the same above math applies to calculating the interconnects or uplinks needed to move the traffic to a core packet broker where grooming to tools would take place. Next, consideration should be made as to what portion of the aggregate traffic will be forwarded to various tools. This is in order to estimate load balancing requirements, as Tim mentioned, as well as needed tool ports. And there should be some allowance for deduplication. Again, we're going to get more into that in a little bit, but I think it's probably familiar to most. Finally, we also need to know the total number of ports required by speed so that we can select a packet broker that accommodates all taps, spans, GRE tunnels, interconnects, tool ports, and so on. And needless to say, a reasonable growth estimate should be factored in.
Yeah, and as you can see here, can get to be a lot of data pretty quickly, and again, we can help with that. We'll talk through some of those methods, and just these calculations themselves can get fairly complicated, and that's what we're here for, Chris and myself and your regional SE from Keysight around the globe, to go through network diagrams and review these considerations and help you make the right decision, right size the solution that you need for the particular project.